close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left.
Oh God of all creation, bless this whole land and nation. Justice be our shield and defender. May we dwell in unity, peace and liberty. Plenty be found within our borders. Guess what, people? That is the national anthem. I'm very passionate about Kenya as well. But in this particular episode on Beyond Limits, hey, I'm going to talk to Nerima Wako. You have watched on political analysis on TV, and you're wondering, why is this lady going too far? If you've been thinking it's going too far, she's going to be on this show. But guess what? We had a chat, we talked, we laughed. I know, we walked. She had no idea who I am. And she's really sweet, by the way. And she was like, so which show am I coming here to do? Oh, what is the name of the show? I'm like, okay. So is it fun? I'm like, I don't know. Did you check the producer? And she's like, I did actually watch KUTV. I'm like, okay, so if you watch KUTV, she doesn't even know who I am. But this was fun. So I'm not bad. Don't say I'm bad. I just love my guests like this. So I think she's here already. So guys, I gotta do this. Namsi Mwambie. Let's see the reaction. Beyond Limits starts right now.
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left.
What?
Playing with me.
I wasn't playing with you like you didn't have any idea I was the horse, and then you kept asking me questions.
So mean.
Like I
You
am
have
not
told me this whole time.
Hi.
And then you didn't tell me.
I told you the
No,
name
you
of the
didn't.
show.
You were like turning around.
I told you it's a fun
And
show,
then I know.
and that you didn't even know the name of the
I
show.
did it. I started with my story.
Yeah, you're like,
I had
this is the
an
show where you
idea.
tell your story? Yes, this is the show you tell your
But then
story.
when I asked you why I'm here, you're like, oh, Michelle didn't tell you. And then
Because I was like, wait, the producer didn't tell you? Because I knew you'd tell your story, because I knew you'd get talking, and you were talking the whole time.
I was.
Welcome
Oh,
to
so
the
nice.
show.
Thank you.
How you feeling?
I
mean,
feel played.
I
Like I've
am
been pranked. This is
really,
gonna be fun.
it's an honor to have you. This is gonna be fun.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me. I was saying how I'm really impressed with the work that you guys do. And it's things like this that actually motivate me, because I realize there are a lot of young people doing amazing things and then working really hard and making you see that there's hope in young people.
Wait, did you sign in?
The same.
Did you? She didn't sign in.
Oh, but you know what? You picked me from the gate, and then
You need to sign. This is yours. This is yours. She didn't sign, so she has to sign.
I definitely feel like I'm in school now.
Oh yeah, well, this is actually a school. This is Kenyatta University, and then KUTV is right with it. So welcome to school. Wait, Nerima though. Wait, I'm gonna ask you. You're feeling like you're in school.
Yep. I left a long time ago.
A long time ago. So that makes you how old?
29. I'm 29.
She's 29. Because the last time I checked, you said you're not 30 yet.
Yeah.
So how old were you when you started all this?
20. When I started Siasa Place, I was 24.
Wow.
Yeah. I was 24 when I started Siasa Place.
24.
And started it very, very slowly. And at the time when I had the idea, people were like, it's not gonna work. And so at the time when you're that young with this ambitious dream, it takes a while to convince people. But then I think at first I had to convince myself that this is something that I really want to do, and I'm gonna go ahead and do it. By the time I joined college, I was 17. So by the time I finished my undergraduate and my master's, I was 22. In primary school, I was I was everybody's friend.
Everybody's friend.
Yeah. I didn't really have people that I didn't hang out with. So, and then I played a lot of soccer. So I was very tomboyish. Yeah. By the way, I did.
Wait,
Because
you
seriously,
soccer?
Yeah.
You don't have them.
And I was really fast. Like, in my parents' house, I just have a lot of running medals. So I used to run. Yeah, I almost went to national.
Is there anything you can't do?
That
is sports.
I can't sing.
At least I can shine when it comes to singing.
I can't sing.
We're gonna have a moment for you to sing. Oh wow!
No.
I'll be so
Why are
proud
you
of
doing
you.
that?
If you try. So wait, you before we go into the the Nerima we see now, you're very vocal, and you're a woman. Let me just say woman. I don't want to say lady. Yeah.
Just kidding. Yeah.
Don't you get this boo woo, don't talk in the midst of men, and you're so young, and why are you, especially during the political times, which was very sensitive?
Yeah. Well, I think I'm fortunate that I started talking about politics very, very early in my life, maybe about 10, when I would talk with my dad. And he never really shut me down. So he would continue the conversations with me. So here I am thinking it's normal because now I would be with my uncles and stuff and I would contribute. And so being vocal about politics has always been a part of my life. But where I guess the most interesting thing, and I say this story repetitively, was the first time when I was on air talking about politics, right before going on into studio, a professor told me, young lady, are you sure you're in the right space? And I'm like, excuse me? And he's like, this is a political show, tunaongea siasa. And he's like, this is not entertainment. Because of my hair. And back then I had dyed it. Sometimes I dye it, I shave the sides. So I had dyed it back then. And so, that rubbed me the wrong way. Because that was right before we went live. And I couldn't believe, I was like, wait a minute, this is a professor in political science. How many women is he shutting down in class?
Wow.
That's the first thing I thought. And that was the first time I had actually met that. And so I would get some feedback. These days with social media, you're so reachable. Yani,
I can just check you out.
Yeah, so I would get a lot of feed from Twitter and Facebook, just you don't know what you're talking about. But in the same time, you'd get a lot of support. So I was in a school that's majority white in Alabama. And on campus, we were maybe a handful of Kenyans out of 10,000 student body. And I wanted to run for president. And at the time, it's kind of out there. A lot of women, we go for vice president. Huh?
Yes, you went for
No, I
president.
went for president. So I was like, I want president. And I found out the power of negotiation because the Africans were quite few on campus compared to Asians or whites. So I had to form coalitions. So I found myself going and hanging out with Japanese students, hanging out with the Chinese. And it's the Chinese and the Japanese who voted for me. And that's where I learned politics is all about creating blocks of support. But unfortunately in our country, we've made it to be tribal to the extent where it's dangerous for us, where it's not just about the ballot box, and it's more about greed and resources and inequality. And that's a worry for me in our country.
You see, Nerima really has the country at heart. I ask her questions about herself and she starts talking about, unfortunately, in our country. My friend, welcome to Beyond Limits, where I want to hear about you. She's always advocating for people. The youth leader. I'm like, yo, girlfriend.
Oh my gosh, you're right. It's so hard.
You just
oh
move,
my
you
goodness.
You just shift okay, from her. She's so selfless. You can see that, right?
Like if you see me in a restaurant, I have to have eye-to-eye contact with my waitress. Thank you. That respect, because I've been there before. And it's a lot of hard work. It's not much pay. And then you're constantly on your feet, which is not easy. And sometimes my feet used to hurt so bad, I would have to lie on my back and put my feet on a wall for an hour just to relieve the pain in my back. And so those are some of the struggles people don't realize. There's no place to sit for them. and that's a whole day shift. Yeah.
So you do know, if you did not know, that she worked as a waitress. She
I
did. And sometimes you just say, "Kwani food imesaviwaje?"
Yeah.
Anyone who saw you serving food didn't know Nerima would be this.
Later on.
I don't want to go too far before I talk about the love you have for family.
Yes.
Man, that was deep. Right now you're standing here without a kidney.
Yeah.
I have two.
I have one. I don't have my left one. So my brother fell ill at a really young age, and it came as a surprise. A lot of people are like, what caused it? And until today, we're not sure. And one day you just get a phone call, he's in ICU. And they're like, his kidneys have failed. He's had 7 transfusions. And the best hope for him is probably a transplant. So it was like, in that instance, I was just like, I'm going to do it. I don't care what it takes, because he's my best friend. I just couldn't see life without him. Like, I'm like, you're kidding me. Like, I can't. So for me, it was common sense to be able to volunteer to donate. And so we started with all the tests, and that's when I realized, like, every time I was afraid, because I don't like hospitals. I know nobody does, or injections and stuff like that.
Be careful, doctors are watching.
Oh my
Nurses are
gosh! In fact, mad respect to doctors. Why I just didn't like, and so I would constantly think of my brother. Like, this is something. I mean, he spends hours in dialysis, and I didn't want him to be such a young person, spending most of his day in the hospital a year after the surgery. That's when I was like, man, I really don't have a kidney, because they were doing x-rays and stuff, and I could only see one. And that's when it hit me that I really, really gave him my kidney. But he's doing really well right now.
Remember, it is Nerima's story, and I hope you're learning from it, and how she's gone beyond limits, plus crying like that. But after the break, who knows? Something more fun? Don't go away.
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side.